You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders protect their people and property with wisdom and clarity. In today's episode, we're talking about general liability insurance for Texas churches. Paul is sitting alone in the quiet fellowship hall of his Waco church on a Tuesday morning. The Texas sun is streaming through the high windows, and the light coming through the stained glass is creating a beautiful pattern on the floor. As a church elder, he takes his role as a steward of his church's resources seriously. Usually, that means helping with the church's budget. But today, his stewardship involves reviewing their insurance policies. His church's insurance has been with the same big-name company for 10 years. Their policies continue to renew with the same terms and little review year after year. The language is dense, the terms are hard to understand, and the premium just increased again. As a responsible leader, Paul wants to understand what the church's insurance actually covers and whether or not it is worth the cost. He wonders if a general liability insurance policy is sufficient, but he isn't sure. That's when Paul decided that he needed someone who spoke Texan and could tell him what insurance his church really needed. He picked up the phone and called us. In the course of that conversation, Paul found out that a general liability insurance policy is the foundation of a church's protection. It covers the church's liability for bodily injury to others and damage to property of others. If a visitor is walking into the sanctuary and falls on an uneven part of the church's sidewalk, or if a church member's guitar gets smashed while the band is moving furniture, a general liability policy steps in to cover those risks for the church. While general liability covers visitors and church members, it does not cover the activities or property of volunteers or staff. General liability insurance is important even if your church has a clean claims history and hasn't ever faced a lawsuit. All churches and businesses are vulnerable to liability claims. It just takes one accusation to put the church in a bad spot financially. General liability acts as a financial shield by protecting you from the high cost of legal fees. Even if a claim is completely frivolous and the church did absolutely nothing wrong, you still have to mount a legal defense. Those hourly rates for attorneys can drain a church's building fund faster than a summer heat wave dries up a stock tank. When the policy is written correctly, the insurance company provides the lawyers and manages the case so the church doesn't have to worry about those details. We went on to explain to Paul how general liability insurance does not cover every type of liability claim that a church may face. In fact, general liability policies exclude many of the common liabilities that are part of running a church in Texas. These specific exposures require specialized insurance solutions. Professional liability provides a shield for the pastor if a member alleges that spiritual guidance during counseling caused them harm. Workers' compensation covers medical bills for church staff who suffer job-related injuries. Depending on your church's activities, you may also need specialized policies for sexual misconduct and molestation, business auto policies for church vans, and cyber liability for data breaches. Finally, directors and officers' liability protects the personal assets of your elders and deacons from lawsuits related to their governance decisions. By the time we finished our call, Paul felt a lot better. A weight was lifted off his shoulders because he wasn't staring at a stack of dense insurance policies that he didn't understand. He finally had the clarity he needed to explain exactly what his general liability insurance covers to the rest of the church's board. If you want that same kind of clarity, connect with our church insurance team at insurancefortexans.com. And if you would like to better understand church insurance in general, get a free copy of our book, The Promise of Certainty, at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance Protecting Texas Churches. Until next time, remember, church insurance isn't just about policies. It is about protecting the people and property that God has entrusted to you.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.